let's work this out. Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show. Sorry for the some semi-low res accommodations today, but I was supposed to be back in Vegas, but my flight was delayed coming from San Antonio this morning. Where last night early evening, I performed for the lovely people, the Humane Society. Their Animal Expo was in San Antonio, and they'd asked me a while back to come and perform and help raise money and awareness and all that kind of stuff, and I'm always glad to do that. So I flew in yesterday morning, landed about an hour before I was supposed to go on, and of course I finished the Ultimate Jam night on Tuesday night. We finished up around 1:30 in the morning, and my flight to San Antonio was at 6 a.m. Yeah, so I slept a couple hours, and then mostly been sleeping on planes, so I will have a stiff neck for the next little bit. And hi, chat room. I wish I could bring you guys up on screen right now, but for whatever reason, it's being a deek. So I'll have to trust that you're there. Hold on, I'll see if I can. Maybe this is a way to do it. I bet you I could do it this way. Hold on. Let's see about this guy. Maybe this will work. Yeah, I'm up for trying anything. It's totally good. When I put my title in for today's show, I thought it was a particularly good. Stop scratching it out there. There you go. Let's see. This perhaps could work. Yeah, there you are. A little bit. Hold on. I'll have to shrink it down a bit, but that's okay. Yeah. Give me 1 second to do a little croppage, and then you'll be just fine. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, and there you are. Hi, everybody. Hi, Utah. Hi, Andrew. Hi, everybody. Why does the page stop looking up? Sending a long distance neck rope. Thank you. I'm desperate need for one. Yeah. I'm gonna restart that page because it becomes silly sometimes. Thor's Day, Magoo. How's there anyone you post show changes in schedule? Barbara, no, I usually just do it like on the fly on Monday. I usually talk about it at the beginning of the week if I'm going to have some major changes. I apologize if you missed that. But I talked about how Tuesday and Wednesday would be out this week. And sorry, Thursday's always later, but today was just like a 10-minute tech delay because of all the stuff, because I was in the wrong city. But yeah. Hello, Alabama. What's happening? I guess I'll have to reload this page every time. It just doesn't want to continue for some reason. It's got a thing. It's very upsetting. There you go. I thought you lost me in the MAGA triangle. Never. I will say, oh, nice. Oh, Jet, that's awesome. Fantastic. It'll be, the theme is Headbangers Ball. I'm going to have to drag you up and make you scream alongside me. The one song I know for sure I'm doing is Wanted Man by Rat because I insisted. I have a couple of other options. Perhaps Queen of the Reich. Oh, yeah. Going for that opening note. Hey, man, if you're going to walk up to the bell, ring the bell, goddammit. So here I will. I'm happy to be back, too. Missed you guys. We got a lot to cover today, and then as soon as I'm done with the show today, I have to hit the road and drive back to Vegas tonight so that I can do my morning show on the regular, and then afternoon show on the regular, and then fly to Albuquerque after going down and having dinner with Sammy Hagar. But this is another thing entirely. Not really dinner, just snacks before I leave town. Crazy. And then Albuquerque on Saturday, and then Sunday I'm back, and next week is pretty normal, all but Friday of next week. Friday is, of course, Flappers next week. If you're in Los Angeles, the Burbank area, I'm doing a show at Flappers, the late show, 10:30, so it'll be plenty blue. Don't you worry. I know you're normally like, Hal, I don't picture you using 4-letter words and the like. Oh, yes, it happens. It's been known to happen. And it extra happens on the late show on a Friday night. So if you feel like joining us, you can either come down there and see the show live, and if you're a Patreon supporter, you can come in with a guest for free. And if you're at home and you're a Patreon supporter and you're out in the country, you get to watch it live streamed because their live stream seems to be up and running. And right now, speaking of up and running, we are at a level 2 hype train. All right. Point me in the direction of Albuquerque. You have to make a left turn when you get there. That's all I know. ALBUQUERQUE. I think it should be called Albuquerque. If you don't. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, you were in, George, you were in 90% of the live videos, no doubt. Yay, hi, everybody, hello. All right, let's jump straight in because we got a lot to cover, not the least of which is these dipshits gathered outside of Trump land. So these are, you know what I love about this? There's been a lot of hay made about the fact that these dickheads all dressed alike, except for her and the other her. They all wore red ties, you know, but they all clearly didn't wear solid red ties for fear of looking even more like the dickheads that they are. Yeah, the bootlicker sign was hilarious that the guy was holding up, but I don't think boot does it. These guys are taint lickers. And at the very least, let's jump in and hear what they've got to say. This is Balina Luna Balina. La Luna Balena Dalela, but it doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter. Then you sit down. Gene Hackman can kick your ass. She's if you'll recall, when she was running, some of the other right wingers around her were accusing her of being a witch. I'm not kidding. She may still be. We don't know. How can we? I guess. But yeah, she was accused of being a witch, which is, I think, the singular most likable thing about her. I don't know. All right, here we go. Let's jump into this idiocy.
Nonsense. It should not be happening in the United States.
Nonsense. That's, you know, like right out of the gate, legal mumbo jumbo.
States of America. Furthermore, to Cohen, who admitted to lying to members of Congress, that's contempt of Congress.
Yeah, he went to jail for lying. He was lying for Donald Trump.
That you are tracking, and I want to follow it up by saying this. It is by no coincidence that you have Goldman, a member of House Oversight who's a Democrat, prepared Cohen for his testimony, is also retainered by the judge's daughter.
Retainered?
As a client. Does that...
Retainered by the judge's daughter as a client. So if you carry the two, equals D-I-P-S-H-I-T. Dipshit. Okay, sorry.
Like it's not sham to you. It is.
Yeah, it's not like Shem to you. Shem, it's like Shem from the Three Stooges. Also Curly Joe. Also End the Iraq.
Corrupt lawfare. It's the Biden prosecutions, and Biden, you're gonna lose.
This is my wrestling moment with my side point. Boom.
Election cycle.
You're gonna lose this election cycle. Weren't these people supposed to be like masterful in their messaging and all this kind of stuff? Why wouldn't you just stop at the word election? Oh, because you're stupid. That's right. Sorry. Speaking of stupid.
My other colleague from Florida, Mr. Waltz.
Any relation to Christoph? Ooh, that's a bingo. Is that how you say it?
I've served all over the world.
Okay.
In Africa, the Middle East, and in South America. And this is the type of country, those are the types of countries.
One of them. I mean, maybe he doesn't know where he is right now. He served all over. So this and that are the I don't know. What are America's pronouns, dude?
Where they weaponize the judicial system against their political opponents.
Right, that's what Trump was trying to do, and we got him out, and then he's being tried, because first world countries are not afraid to try their former leaders in legitimate legal proceedings. He can also still run. We also didn't assassinate him or push him out a fucking window.
Maduro weaponized the judicial system in Venezuela against Guaido. Every prime minister of Pakistan.
Yeah, the poor prime ministers of Pakistan. Every single one of them. Always ice skating uphill.
Knows if they lose to the other side, they're going to get put in jail. Is this?
Yeah, that's, you'll notice that's never happened with another Republican, even fucking Nixon, who everybody was like, the pardon's a mistake, but we let it slide. Maybe it's, I'm just going to go out on a limb. Maybe it's Trump that's special in this situation. Maybe he's a special level of dickhead.
What we want America to become?
A country that, where whether you're a president or not, you're equal in the eyes of the law? Yeah, I think so.
This is what we're becoming.
Oh, you mean? Oh, I know what he's talking about. I know he's sorry, my bad. He's talking about when people were yelling "lock her up" when Trump was running initially, and he's just offended by it, and he thinks it's wrong, and this, it's just the wrong way to go. It's just It took a long time because he's slow. It took a long time for that reaction to leave his brain and arrive at his mouth, like about 7 years.
Then from the great state of Florida, let's talk about the judges.
Yeah, let's talk about the great state of Georgia and its judges. How about we talk about the great state of Florida and its judges? Fuckwad, you're from there. Why is a Trump appointee scuttling a classified documents case against that motherfucker? Hi, Bug.
The judges in Florida, in an effort to stay apolitical, won't even attend an event. They won't even take a photo with a member of Congress.
They don't have to. They already got the job.
That the public believes they are objective.
Yeah, even though they aren't. But nobody does. Isn't that weird? Nobody believes Eileen Cannon is objective in this situation, and yet I've seen one picture of her. It's the same one they always use.
But
Hype train. Thank you guys on Twitch. Appreciate it.
We have a judge that's contributing. We have a judge who's...
Yeah, your judges in Florida give political contributions.
...is making money. We have a judge whose family is enriching themselves on...
Enriching themselves? They are enriching themselves? How dare they? Enriching themselves. It's enrich. Fucking commies.
It's happening today. Any judge worth their salt would have recused themselves.
I agree. Cannon, step down now. Oh, no, that's not what you're... Sorry.
They care about the people's perception of justice. This isn't justice. This is politics. It's political warfare, and we see it happening in third world countries all over the world. I never thought I'd see it happening in the United States of America.
Okay, this has been a line. I mean, basically, this is obviously a way for Trump to get around the gag orders, to have these guys come out and basically say all the things he wants to say. The most fucked up part of this is they're just saying the same shit he says. Honestly, even bringing in, like, Goldman's being retained by the daughter, whatever bullshit story that is, doesn't land anywhere. Nobody's being moved on that. Certainly not the jury. Certainly not the next jury. Certainly not the appellate court. They're not going to give a fuck. So they're supposed to come out there and say all the things, and maybe there'll be more of them. Maybe they will get more direct in their attacks. But for the majority of the, like, Tuberville and the other ones that have shown up so far, they're basically just repeating the same shit Trump says. There's almost no difference. Like, what the fuck is the point? Other than him wanting the illusion of friends and support.
Now, my colleague from the state of South Carolina, Ralph Norman.
Pure and simple, this is, as the sign says, political persecution.
It is totally political persecution. Let me tell you right now. Now, if I had a mustache, I'd look like Hal Holbrook playing Mark Twain right now. But I do not have the mental capacity to understand all those quippy sayings, so I've steered clear of any comparisons in this time.
Man should have to go through what President Trump is sitting through.
I agree. And you know how they could avoid it? Stop breaking the law, asshole!
His own daughter, who's making millions, should not happen in America.
Yeah, people should not make millions in America. Thank you, comrade. You do realize that if Trump goes to jail, she loses money, right? Like, if her job is to stop Trump and Trump gets stopped, gravy train's over. What's she gonna do? Go make ads about Mitt Romney? Yawn.
This trial, look at the timing of it.
Yeah, you're right. Trump shouldn't have punted it. He should have taken the dates they initially offered last year.
Before the presidential primary, before the conventions.
Well, during part of the primaries. I mean, everybody else dropped out. Who gives a fuck? Why is he even having to have a primary? He was already president once. I thought MAGA was the greatest movement ever, and he's the most popular president in the history of Earth. So why the fuck would he even need a primary? I mean, why did he just walk out? I mean, George H.W. Bush didn't need one. And he wasn't even president. He came in as vice president. He just, unopposed, just skated right the fuck in. Huh. Weird.
When Donald Trump sit here, their whole purpose is to keep him off the campaign trail so that he can't do what he does.
So he can't sundown in front of the entire country? Don't worry, buddy. We're looking forward to it. I can't wait till he's back out there trying to do night rallies.
Yes. You know what their intent is? This is their intent.
No, I don't think he'll be wearing a suit. And he should have a cup in his hand, shouldn't he? Also, I guess that's somebody's Twitter picture. It's terrible. I mean, it's almost, you know what it makes me think of? Remember when Sarah Palin put out pictures of other politicians with bullseyes on them? Do you see the difference? Do you see in this situation, this asshole would have to be convicted by a jury of his peers and I suppose not make it in the appellate in any of these situations and go to serve time. He'd have due process the whole fucking way. Meanwhile, your party was putting out pictures of people with sniper rifle scopes over their faces. So, tell me, sorry, you were saying something about third world countries and what happens there.
Bars, and the American people are going to say no.
Not so far. I mean, did you see how many votes Haley got in Indiana, dipshit?
They're going to put an innocent man behind bars.
They are? When? After Trump? That's not right.
What kind of political theater do they want to keep going? This is a kangaroo court, pure and simple.
Amen.
Amen.
My colleague, Lauren Bobert from Colorado.
Oh, dear. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Radical left wants President Trump
Radical.
to simply go away.
Not simply. Oh, isn't the good liars trying to get her to sign the Beetlejuice playbill?
If President Trump just went away, this would all go away as well. They do.
He just got pulled away by security or whoever the fuck that was. It's just like that. Was that Corey Lewandowski? Isn't he the executive in charge of roughing up the press?
Want him to be in this race. They know that he is the #1 candidate for president.
Real quick, just to be clear, she's missing a vote in Congress right now when this is going on, and her own son's day in court. Yeah, she skipped her son's day in court and a vote in Congress to throw herself in front of a bus for Jeffrey Epstein's wingman.
The United States for the 2024 election, and they are doing everything that they can to interfere in yet another election.
Well, not everything. Thank God, because I wouldn't be for everything. And according to Trump, that everything would include, I think, a Predator drone strike. So if Biden wanted to do it, I guess he could do it. I don't know. According to Trump, he could do it and just pardon himself, or just as long as you guys don't find out who ordered it or how it happened, he could just get away with it. Thank God he's not. Obviously he's not doing everything he can. Maybe, you know what, it might be that Biden doesn't actually believe the president has those kind of powers, but Trump certainly does. And so from Trump's point of view, Biden is clearly not doing everything in his power to keep him off the trail or whatever the fuck.
I got news for the radical left and the
Do you?
weaponized DOJ.
Here it comes. Boom. Bring it, sister. I love her. Are you going to let this timeshare opportunity pass you by, or are you going to learn to live? Energy. It's like the world's angriest QVC presenter. It's a pearl necklace. Shut the fuck up and buy it. I don't want to hear the jokes. Why is the chat talking about some sexual stuff? I'm just trying to sell a goddamn pearl necklace. The fuck is going on here? Buy it. God damn it.
President Trump is not going anywhere. He's coming
You're right. He's staying mostly in court.
back for another 4 years. And we are not going anywhere either. We are here to stand.
I got to say, He's going to lose this fall. He's not winning, and neither are you. I mean, I gotta say, we're this close to like former congressperson and new Fox contributor Lauren Bobert.
With him as he stands up for you, the American people. He has laid everything on the line to defend our great nation.
No, he didn't. He gave specifically his company and himself a tax break. Like the biggest tax break someone in his income bracket has ever gotten. His alleged income bracket. I should preface that concept with it, yeah, because I don't buy that he qualifies, but it looks good. It's a good look.
I'm so grateful for him sitting at court today, seeing the lack of credibility from Michael Cohen, who has lied in front of all branches of Congress.
All of them, even the ones with ATMs. Several branches. That's great. There'd be the I know 3. So he was lying. Was he lying when he was the president's attorney? Yes, of course he was lying when he was the president's attorney. He was lying for the president. Was he lying the Senate? I don't know that he ever did. He sit down with the Senate? Did he get a chance to lie to him? I'm sure. I guess he'd like to collect all 3. And in terms of the House, he was lying for the president. So,
of government,
former president.
This is an issue. Someone who is
It so is. It's an issue.
Liar who has committed tax fraud.
Really? You want to go there, sister? You're going to defend Trump because the person who's because one of the witnesses against him committed tax fraud? Really?
It's a podcast who screams explicitives.
Explicitives? Not explicitives. Does he explicitivate all over the explicitives? Because that's gross. I think, I may not know obscenity, but I know what I like. Explicitives. This is a sitting member of Congress. What the ever-loving fuck? I mean, she's standing here. I don't want you to think she's sitting currently because she looks like she's sitting, but she's standing.
Against President Trump, saying that it would be better for him, that he can't wait for President Trump to be locked up behind bars. Someone who wears a shirt with President Trump behind bars.
Yes, somebody who was best friends with him for 10 years, who knows where all the bodies are buried, who was his most trusted companion until he hung him out to dry once he was president, because he was like, fuck this guy, he can go down and I won't have to, har, because that's how he treats people. Like, yeah, he used to be a scumbag. We know. I mean, have you ever seen it like a former mobster take state's evidence against the godfather of whatever particular family? We know how this shit works. It's fucking New York, dummy.
He said today in court even that it would personally affect him, the outcome of this case.
Yeah, I guess. Either way. Did he say it? But my question is, did he say it in kind of a broken, confused way like you just did?
The outcome of this case personally affects Cohen.
Yeah, because the guy that he went to jail for would get off or go to jail, and if he became president, the idea is that he could get Michael Cohen killed. Like, Michael Cohen's never going to ride in a fucking helicopter again in his life.
Everything that he has done personally affects him, and he wants President Trump to suffer. That is why.
Yeah, they used to be friends. Almost everybody who used to be friends with Trump wants him to suffer. Except Epstein, who's, obviously dead or in hiding.
Done what he has done. That's why he has told the lies that he has. And we are here today to counter those as we stand.
How can you? He has a recording of his conversation with Trump. Do you have a recording where Trump says psych at the end of that?
For our friend, President Donald J. Trump, and I appreciate the millions of Americans who in defense of him.
Yeah, the dozens of people who were here and everyone at the Jersey Shore who went out over the weekend so that we could count them amongst his numbers at the rally that had about 5,000 people.
We have corrupt judges who he's not even
Yes, Eileen Cannon. We spoke about her earlier.
allowed to speak up.
Oh, Clarence Thomas, I guess, technically speaking. I mean, Scalia's not still around or he'd be throwing his weight behind Trump completely. We get that.
Because of their corruptness.
That corruptness. Oh, that's what I hate is the corruptness. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have a brain cramp, and no one is gonna know where to send the ambulance. You go, girl.
A corrupt judge whose daughter is making some $100 million, raising $100 million for
Yeah, making it, raising it, doesn't really matter. It's hers, and she gets to keep it. You're broke, and so is Trump. It's sad.
campaigns against President Trump. This is a scam. It is a sham. It is a show. And we are here to
It's a
expose.
flim, flam, wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. I think they should all rhyme. If you're going to start down that road, don't veer off into the ditch. It's a sham. It's a scam. It's a wham, bam, thank you. No, actually, I can understand why she wouldn't bring that up now that I think of it. It's probably not the best. And now I'll leave it to somebody else.
Every bit of it. Mr. President, we stand with you.
That was magic. I'm sure he feels a lot better. I'm sure he's looking at his dipshit lawyer who's been fucking up for the last 3 days extra primo hard with Michael Cohen and his other lawyer who fucked up in front of Stormy Daniels. And he goes, well, at least I have Lauren Bobert blathering into a microphone outside the courtroom that has no material effect on anything that's going on.
Colleague from the great state of Tennessee, Andy Ogles.
You know, if I started a story with a convicted felon and a hooker walk into a bar,
People would go, which one's Trump? And is the hooker Ivanka? Or I forget, I told it a bunch of times, but I gotta tell you, I was so fucking hammered up there on moonshine liquor.
immediately know that it's a joke. Well, that
Unless you're like, but it was at a golf tournament thing, and Ben Roethlisberger was there, and it was Stormy Daniels and Trump. And then she went up to the room, and then you go, oh, it's not a joke. You're just poorly retelling the story. What the fuck?
we have here, a joke of a trial.
Wow, this is a bad lead off. Back up. Give me that again. Like, here's a good idea. Pro tip. If you're trying to divert attention away from your friend's extramarital affair while his wife was home with their 5-month-old when he fucked a porn star and then paid her off to keep quiet so he could win an election because he was afraid after the Access Hollywood tape that he was losing a significant number of the population, and all it took was 75,000 votes and he'd have lost that fucking election, that you're like, I need to come and help this guy. Just real quick, don't bring up hookers. Just don't. Just talk. Don't even bring up golf, you dumb motherfucker.
My colleague from the great state of Tennessee, Andy Ogles.
You know, if I started a story with a convicted felon and a hooker walk into a bar,
Matt Gaetz had already have his belt off before I got to the third sentence.
you would immediately know that it's a joke.
No, I wouldn't. It's a story. You're telling me a story about a convicted felon and a hooker walking into a bar. I'm fairly certain that's Pulp Fiction. Everybody get on the fucking floor.
Well, that's what we have here, a joke of a trial.
He worked on that. Like he was, while everybody else was talking, he was like, I'm gonna nail this. I'm gonna stick the landing. Come on. You know, this guy is one of the reasons why the last thing most rednecks say right before they die is, hey, watch this.
Convicted felon who has a vengeance against the president. We have
Right, because he was convicted of a felony that he committed on behalf of the president, stupid. We know. Again, don't bring it up.
a woman who is paid for sex.
Yeah, but she's not a prostitute. She's paid for performative sex. She wasn't paid for that sex, you dumb motherfucker.
the vengeance against the president. This is not a prosecution. This is a persecution.
Okay, well. Yes, apparently the New York, I don't know why it is, but the New York legal system and Joe Biden in particular have a thing against rich, fake rich, golf magnates. I don't know what the fuck his career is right now, as far as Trump. Fucking porn stars. It's just that's the last straw.
We have a two-tier justice system in this country.
Right. If we didn't, Trump would already be in jail.
And if a former president can be targeted by a woke and corrupt judge, then you can be targeted as well, Mr.
Well, yeah, if I try to get elected by circumventing election laws to do contributions in kind and get paid by, or use my lawyer to hide payments or allow for a company like AMI to do favors for me, which is a contribution in kind to my election. Yeah, you're fucking A right. I'd be targeted and I'd go to jail. And you know what, dummy? I'd fucking deserve it. We all would. If they can go after him for committing a crime, you think you're going to be allowed to commit a crime? Okay, think about that. Give that a thought or two. Huh? Yeah. If they can arrest him for fucking around and finding out, you think you're going to be free to fuck around and not find out? I don't think so. Ask Lauren Squeezer, Bobert, shit, her. God damn it. I'm sorry, Shardy.
We've got your back.
Thank you.
Said his cellmate, I'm sorry. Sometimes they just escape. Just going to wheel that one back in. Put that in the shame box. I apologize.
Also, from the state of Tennessee, my colleague, Congresswoman Harshbarger.
Thank you, Matt.
Dr. Huffar.
You know, we're
Ladies and gentlemen, and Mel Mahay.
New York City.
New York City? If you're going to say New York City with a southern accent, please try and not sound exactly like a barbecue sauce commercial.
We're watching the persecution of a patriot.
I thought you were at the Trump trial.
We're watching in real time
Bill Maher is there?
the Biden administration's Department of Justice interfere in a case that should never have been brought in the first place.
It's a state thing. I don't know that they can.
We have a judge who has a conflict of interest.
Thank you for at least using the phrase properly. It's a conflict of interest. That's the argument. That's the case they're making. Not he's conflicted more than anybody's ever been conflicted before. I think really, since all these assholes are just saying what Trump says, they're just coming out and saying it in kind of a coherent way. Is it there? I mean, not Bobert and obviously the dude from Tennessee, and neither the guys from Georgia and anybody from Florida. But the point is,
A witness in Michael Cohen, who admittedly...
Cohen? I must have missed that testimony. Sorry.
Judge who has a conflict of interest. We have a witness in Michael Cohen who
Michael Cohen. No relation to Walter Koenig, I think. I don't know who Michael Cohen is, but as Winston Churchill said, if you're going through Cohen, keep going.
From the stand admitted to lying under oath.
Right, because he had to tell the truth because he was under oath, and they had proof that what he was saying was true. Okay. Again, for the stupid people, there's a binary choice here. Either he is lying right now under oath, and he's committing perjury, and you can make that case. Or he lied before, and that means he's telling the truth now. So he's either lying now, and he was telling the truth and went to jail for nothing because he was telling the truth for Donald Trump back then, and now he's lying against Donald Trump now, or he's telling the truth now, and he was lying before, and that's why he went to jail. One or the other. He's either lying now or he was lying then. If he was lying then, he's not lying now. If he's lying now, then Trump let him go to jail for, threw him under the bus for no fucking reason. Could have pardoned him.
Under oath. Look, if
Yeah, he was under oath. So when they ask you, did you lie? To tell the truth now, you'd have to say, yes, I lied. That's the truth. He didn't say, no, I didn't lie, stupid. That's the point. You'd have a case if he said, I didn't lie. In fact, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
ever wondered if there were two tiers of justice and if the American government was weaponized against its own citizens, you don't have to wonder anymore.
I try to avoid it, actually. It's flights of fancy are just wrong. I find I try to focus on really just realistic things. I don't want to be a daydreamer. You know what I mean? Wondering all the time.
You don't have to wonder. The American
I know I don't have to, and I'm not going to.
people are not stupid.
Well, I mean, it's a large group of people. I mean, there's certainly some stupid people spread out amongst them. Look over your shoulder.
There are patriots in this nation
That are stupid? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying patriots are stupid? Shame on you.
who want to know the truth,
Do they?
and we are here to support President Trump to do just that. And the last
All right, there was nothing there.
thing I will say is what a price to be a patriot President Trump is paying. And with that, I'll yield back to you.
Thank you. Mr. Cloud from the state of Texas.
Hey, why are we here? Is a good
Yeah, it's a good. You could have been back at Congress. There's votes going on. You're skipping them.
question to ask. We are
Right, Mr. Orange Tie. Somebody didn't get the fucking memo. What kind of dreamsicle Democratic bullshit is that you got on?
here simply because Biden can't get the inflation numbers down.
The inflation numbers are down.
He can't get the crime numbers down.
The crime numbers are literally down.
He can't get the numbers of illegal aliens, terrorists even crossing our borders down. So
That number is literally down right now. It's literally down from its peak, certainly, but it's down even in the last couple of months.
what's he going to do? He's going to do everything he can to take down his political opponent.
I see. So he wanted to do this kind of like down thing. Everything's down. And the problem with it is, besides he's stupid, is that all those things are down, and then he should have ended with, since he can't bring inflation down, he can't bring the number of illegals crossing the border down, he can't bring the cost of living down, but he can attempt to bring the president down, and that's why I'm here today. Blah, blah, blah. Obviously that's presuming you know how to actually talk. So I know a boy can dream, can't he?
How's he going to do that? Well, we all know that the Biden team knows that they're not going to be able to win this election by doing the Biden basement tour again.
Why would he have to do that? We're not in a fucking pandemic, dummy. We were all in our houses. Also, it's not a basement if it opens onto a yard. I'm sorry, but I mean, even the things they did from the house, it's the ground floor. It's not a basement if it opens onto the yard. I'm sorry. I know I'm nitpicking, as I often do.
So we saw just a couple days ago, Trump in New Jersey, 100,000 people
No, that was Brazil, and that was Rod Stewart.
showing up. This is the contrast that
Showing up at the entire Jersey Shore, the boardwalk all through down into the private beaches. Everybody who was there, he just gets credit for anybody staying at a hotel within a 10-mile radius. He's basically like a nuclear blast zone. If you didn't have to hear any of it, but if you were dead before the light hits your eyes, you're counted as a Trump voter.
do not want you to see, and why we have a court with a corrupt judge and a convicted felon as the star witness.
Yeah, but I mean, it was his best friend and his fixer. Is that our fucking fault? I got news for you. A lot of us wish that Michael Cohen had been convicted a long time ago. He might have come around if this had happened before Trump was president.
Placing a gag order on President Trump so that he can't be out here touching and winning the hearts of the minds of the
hearts of the minds of the winning of the people, the parts of the stupids of the patriots in America and Florida, as well as the great state of confusion.
people, which he definitely has behind him.
The hearts of the minds of the people are behind him. So he's just like reaching back. No wonder he grabs him by the pussy sometimes. He doesn't even look where he's grabbing.
People definitely see through this. They're not buying it this time, and we're here to stand with
Well, he's not raising as much money, I guess. Is that what you mean?
President Trump and to let them know that are trying to silence him that we will not be silenced. We will not be intimidated. We are going to stand for this country to ensure that the rule of law is restored once again.
Amen. Somebody just keeps yelling, like just saying amen at the end of everything. You do realize you're defending an adulterer. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, I would just dial back some of the, the biblical and church language a bit. You know what I mean? Just you don't have to stop saying it in your own life, but it doesn't apply here. The dude was Jeffrey Epstein's wingman, okay? Trump and Epstein were thick as fucking thieves. Stop saying amen. It's an insult to Tutankhamun.
Also joining us from the state of Arizona is my colleague Eli Crane.
Thank you guys for coming out today.
God, I gotta say, is it just me, or does everybody there seem a bit soft? Bit, like, intellectually, they're dragging logs behind the boat, as it were. How do I put this? Yeah. Like, they're intellectually, they are driving with the parking brake on. All of them. I'm not kidding. They all I happen to like that as an analogy. Intellectually driving with the parking brake on. I think that tells the story of these folks, and I'm sticking to it from now on. It's going to be a go-to.
I was only in that courtroom for about 2 hours.
Only.
And I heard Michael
And I'm still cold.
admit at least 6 times that he lied.
Yes, he was under oath telling the truth. If he was lying again, he would lie about having lied, stupid.
I mean, that's what this is about. That tells you.
Yes, it's about a man who lied before to protect that guy, telling the truth now. We know. Why do you guys think this is a winning talking point? The fuck is the matter with you?
Everything you need to know, and this is the star witness, him and Stormy Daniels.
Yes. 2 people Donald Trump fucked. We get it.
American people know what's going on. You guys.
Yes. Hell hath no fury like a co-defendant scorned.
What's going on? You guys know why President Trump is here.
You don't need me to try and explain it, because I can't. Know what it just what they said. Shit.
Why is he here? Right there. Political persecution. They can't beat him. They can't beat him, and everybody knows it.
They're already beating him.
Polls are showing it right now.
No, they're not.
They couldn't beat him. They tried to take him out with the
He lost last time.
Russian scandals. They tried to impeach him multiple times.
And in the end, he just lost the election by a shit ton of votes.
American people also know that he could have retired down to Florida and lived the American dream.
No, he couldn't, because he insisted on taking classified documents to his fucking house and then hiding them and copying them and possibly bringing more boxes of them out of there and showing them to our enemies, foreign and domestic.
But he came back. Why?
Because he thinks being president is his only chance to avoid jail. Right. Chat room, has anybody else got another version of that? That's pretty much it, right? That's if he thinks he can pardon himself. He thinks he made a mistake by not trying the first time. He hates his old attorneys for talking him out of it.
Because he sees what's happening in this country. And
yes, the stock market hitting 40K after he said it would crash.
this is just one more example of it.
Yeah, the number of people crossing the border going down after Title 42 was retired.
And one more.
Real wages going up. Inflation coming down after a pandemic, and the greatest financial resurgence after a pandemic in the history of the fucking earth.
reason why we came up here.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's none of, forget all that. What he sees that's driving him crazy is that Biden isn't letting Netanyahu clear out, what was it, the cancer in Gaza.
Volunteered our time is because
you didn't want to vote, and she didn't want to go to court Bobert's right there. Bobert didn't want to go to her son's court date.
we represent good Americans that are tired of this crap too. Yeah, that's right. She is too. And I know.
Yeah. Both. There's like so many Trump supporters here. There's like four people. Oh, those two guys are fucking with me. That's the good liars. There's two people down there. She knows. It is a she, right? Okay.
Many other people that are tired of it.
They're exhausted. Mentally especially.
They want us to fight for this country. They want us to make America great again.
Yeah. They want us to like forget Donald Trump. Just go ahead and you should be in Congress making America great again, passing bills that will make the country better. You know, find ways to restructure the debt without cutting social programs for people who are, elderly and have paid into Social Security for a long time. You know, the hard work of being a congressperson. You could be there right now doing that. You could be making America great again, but instead you're here fucking polishing Trump's taint with your fucking uvula.
They know that President Trump, that's right. They know that President Trump is the biggest obstacle
to human progress, to women's rights.
Between them destroying this country and
by letting women have control over their bodies. Understood.
Get into some totalitarian state, and that's what they want.
Yeah, that's what they want, okay? They want sitting members of the Congress, to come down and protect the leader while all dressing like him, okay? Not on my watch, all right? Oh, fuck me.
Just like this judge up here.
Yeah, just like there's judge up there. They're judges. They're judges. Just like there's judge.
All right? We're not going to allow that to happen. I know.
No, it is happening, though.
President Trump isn't going to allow it to happen.
It is happening. He's on trial right now. He's sitting in front of a jury. He's been indicted already. A grand jury already, it's happening. It is happening. You're not stopping it. And you're just kind of, this doesn't even do anything. The jury's already been picked. You're not going to affect them. The only thing you can hope to is taint if you can get a mistrial there, if you can screw up their ability to find a second jury. That's what this seems to be about.
And you are going to see come November.
Yeah.
Even people that hated President Trump's guts are seeing how rigged and how messed up this system is. Yes. And they know if it can happen to him, it can happen to them.
Yeah, but only if they fuck a porn star while their wife's at home with a 5-month-old and then hide it from the voters because they're afraid they won't get elected after the Access Hollywood tape comes out. And so they try to pay off the person to keep quiet, but they do it through their attorney, and they try to hide it by creating an LLC, and then they list the repayment of that payoff, not as a payoff, but as fees to their lawyer, which is a lie, and then they get caught. Then they're fucked. But anything shy of that, I think it'll be all right. I think it'll be okay.
Thank you guys for coming out, and I want to thank my colleagues for supporting the president.
Thank you for coming.
Do you have a choice? I'd like to thank my colleagues for not being in Congress voting today, because I know there are several bills coming to the floor, and the worst thing we could possibly do is participate in a representative government. There's more of an affront to the values of the American people than a functioning government with people working in it every day. We need a government so small that Vladimir Putin could shoot it in a gravel pit next to a goat.
We're here of our own volition.
Yo, you had to pay for your own flight?
Because there are things we can say that President Trump is unjustly not allowed to say.
Like?
This is a corrupt judge.
Yeah, he said that already. Nope.
Corrupted witnesses.
Yeah, he said that before. These are corrupt witnesses.
Corrupt prosecution.
Yeah, he already said that too.
Belies any sense of the facts or the law, and so we're going to keep speaking out.
Yeah, that's also gibberish, but he said similar things.
Against this, we're going to keep fighting against this, and we will head back to Washington as House conservatives saying that these undemocratic efforts must be.
We got to stop these things, along with stop voting one way or another on stuff that has to actually happen.
Stopped. They must be defunded. We must use.
By the way, is it too late for a motion to vacate right now? I'm just saying, I think the odds are in our favor for Speaker Hakeem Jeffries right now. It's just, imagine if they called, imagine if fucking Marge, just to fuck with these assholes for turning on her, called for a motion to vacate, and they're like, oh shit, we've got a quorum, but they don't have enough votes. Shit, we could make Hakeem Jeffries the speaker. And then he could deny the motion to bring it to the floor. We could set the rules in an afternoon. This would be great.
Our Article 1 powers to stand against election interference. And to close us out, the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, Bob Good.
I want to again thank my colleagues in the House Freedom Caucus
for not having Marjorie Taylor Greene here. Her feet creep me out, and she called this one a little bitch on the floor of the House, which is, again, we're allowed to say it in the cloakroom, but she's not allowed to say it to her face on the floor. It is just not done, ladies and gentlemen.
President's back. We're here because we got to defend him because the gag order that's put on him. Have you ever seen it before where a gag order?
Yes.
Instead of trying to protect, to make sure that the accused gets a fair trial, this gag order is to ensure that he cannot defend himself fairly.
What are you talking about? The gag order has to do with stuff outside the courtroom, dumb fuck. In what world does the internal workings of a court have anything to do with what is said outside of it? It is just for the safety of the people involved. What the fuck are you talking about? This is one of the weirdest defenses of all. He can't come out here and curse these people every fucking day and destroy the potential for a jury if he gets an appeal or he gets a hung jury and they try to try him again. He can't come out here every fucking day and ruin the ability and then have his lawyers come in and goes, Your Honor, we can't get a fair trial. This is a tainted jury pool.
So we're here to have his back, we're here to defend him, and to tell the truth about this travesty of justice.
I cannot wait for the day when AI is so good that I can go, put those guys in an orange jumpsuit, and so everybody there is just talking to like his own chain gang.
This political persecution, this election interference, this rigging of elections.
Yeah, this is all shit he says. You're not getting around the gag order, dum-dum. You got to be specific. If you're going to get around the gag order and you're going to go for it. By the way, the only person they allowed to do that was Anna Paulina Luna, because they don't give a fuck about her. She gets in trouble, she's Loomer-esque. They don't give a shit. Bobert didn't, and the rest of them all just they just tap danced around it.
Collusion between the Department of Injustice and...
See what I did there? I learned that from Trump. I learned from the best.
His crooked courts in New York City.
New York City, crooked. Oh, used to be such a peaceful place.
Michael Colangelo, who went from the DOJ to New York City, whether it's Fonnie Willis's boyfriend who billed the taxpayers of Georgia for time up here in New York City, colluding with the Department of Justice.
He wasn't colluding. He had to meet with them because they actually had to coordinate whose case would go first. This happens, by the way. Have these motherfuckers never watched a Ted Bundy special? Where Washington State, Colorado, and Florida were all trying to jockey for a position of who gets to try him first and when? This is a problem of Trump's own making. If you commit crimes in multiple states, they're going to have meetings about who gets to put you in jail first. And by the way, I like the way it's laying out because, again, the civil trial proved that he wasn't actually a billionaire. This trial is proving he's not actually a Christian conservative family man or any of that bullshit, or that he gives a fuck about human trafficking or any of that garbage. And the other ones are that the election wasn't rigged and he was lying about that the whole time. That's Georgia. And then the final one is the classified documents case, which will prove that he doesn't give a fuck about national security, and he never did.
President Trump's voice.
That's the order it should go in, because you got to bring the myth down to earth before people can look at this fucker.
We have his back. He will ultimately be proven innocent.
No, he won't. First of all, nobody in court has ever proven innocent. You can be found not guilty. It's not the same thing. That they don't prove people innocent. That's never how it works. But you could try. I mean, all baby Jesus analogies you can come up with.
Thank you all so much.
And I want all of the news to start
Oh, this is a mistake. You should probably quit while you're ahead.
asking the question, what is the crime? Because
It's I think it's like 32 counts of falsifying business records to conceal a federal election crime. They don't have to wait for the feds to try it, but they can allude to that crime itself. Again, if somebody murders somebody in another state and they bring the body into your state and they cut it up and they bury it, you can still try them for cutting up the body and burying it. You don't have to wait till the feds try the person for murder. You can try them for what they did in your state. So that's what he did. He hid the payments. He said the $130,000 wasn't money that went to this woman that and paid Michael Cohen business or legal expenses to get rid of it and to pay her off, to carry the money, to be the bag man. They lied and said the money they gave to her and the money they gave to Karen McDougal and the money they gave to the fucking doorman was a legal expense. That's a lie. Everything else Michael Cohen did, his fucking taxi fare across town or the cost of sending him across town in a car to drop the shit off, whatever, the fucking helicopter ride out to the edge of town where he could drop the bag into an old stump they could pick it up. The blackmailers could pick up the bag. Write that shit out as a legal expense. That's your lawyer taking care of some shit, but not the money itself. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars that this guy paid to people, and he hid it as legal expenses. It's a lie. It's a crime. He hid it from the voters, which is immoral and wrong, and you guys would be, if it was Biden, you'd want him fucking staked out over an anthill, and now you don't give a shit because it's Trump.
everyone in this court has not been informed.
There's an indictment, dum-dum. So his lawyers are that shitty. His lawyers are that fucking stupid. They're like, so they have an indictment where the actual charges aren't clear. Where they could walk into court and go, Your Honor, there aren't even any charges here. There's no crime listed. There is no crime here. And they didn't just go, we moved to dismiss because we don't even know why we're here, Your Honor. We didn't get anything. My dog ate my homework.
What the crime is, the defendant does not know the crime that was.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he might be, forgetful these days, but he knows what he did. Beetlejuice. So, yeah. Good times. So that was the big gaggle. Now, hold on one second. Let's see. This one was particularly funny. This is relatively short. This is, let's see. I don't know. This is very confusing, this next clip. This is for the RNC spokesman is on with this guy, with Salcido here. And Biden has just agreed to the debates, has just challenged Trump to a debate, really. And this guy apparently thinks his defense is that Biden is afraid of debating Trump. Okay, let's see. I'm as confused as you are. By the way, hit that like, subscribe, patreon.com/HalSparks, etc., etc. I haven't been doing any of my homework getting people to subscribe. If you're on Twitch, please subscribe. Please. Please subscribe. Come on. Help the show out. And by the way, the fact that everybody who's subscribed to Midas Touch hasn't subscribed to my show, I don't understand. What do I have to do? Just hit subscribe. If you're capable of subscribing to them, you're capable of subscribing. It's not gonna. You're not cheating
For
on
more
them.
on what we can expect, we're joined by RNC spokesman Tommy Pigott.
Tommy Pigott, who I gotta say has a real why don't you have a seat to catch a predator kind of a face.
See you, sir. So we have CNN and ABC News, noted left-wing biased and unfair networks.
Yeah, totally, just unfair. Ugh.
If President Trump agrees to Joe Biden's demands for leftist networks,
already did.
Will the RNC at least insist that a right-leaning network host at least one debate, or at least insist on conservative moderators being allowed to ask some questions?
Well, if they don't, Trump is fucked. You know what I mean? If they don't literally have an attack dog there on his behalf, he can't. He can. A well-moderated debate is terrible for Trump.
Look, fighting for fair debates has been a central tenet of the RNC.
Okay. One of the central tenets of the RNC should be to get you out of, I don't know, the spare bathroom where you're broadcasting from. Shit, I thought I had audio issues.
Years, and we're going to continue that fight for fair debates. Ultimately, what we're seeing with Joe Biden is that, like you mentioned, he's only agreeing to 2 instead of the normal 3 debates.
Trump didn't do any during the primaries. Fuck off.
There should even be more than that because he's afraid of debates. We're dealing with a president right now and Joe Biden who's afraid to answer questions. So our call here at the RNC, the Trump campaign, has been anywhere.
Yeah, he's really, he's scared about getting asked about the unemployment rate and the 40K stock market.
In any place, because we believe Americans deserve to see that debate. So we're going to keep fighting for fair debates, but we need to make sure those debates happen as well. Like I said, anywhere, anytime, any place, because we believe President Trump will wipe the floor with Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Great. Well, then no complaints. If he's going to wipe the floor with him, who gives a shit what the moderators say? Why does he need a conservative moderator? And again, if I was debating somebody and I was on Fox and they had somebody who clearly likes the Republican and is a Democrat, I'm in this sort of like hostile environment, I would just use the fact that they were protecting him as a cudgel against them, and going, please, and by the way, as soon as you're done asking him that really tough question, please toss some marshmallows my way. And, and then go, by the way, I welcome the harshest of your questions. Please dive in. Don't skate around trying to make this look like it's fair. Like, why wouldn't you just do that? If you're going to mop the floor with them, then get the fucking mop out, buddy. Instead of whining about it.
Well, Tommy, just so that everybody here watching on Newsmax knows.
Both of you.
Is it possible that we're going to watch 2 debates between these candidates and only left-wing or left-leaning moderators will be allowed? No conservative voices will be represented inside of these debates. Is that possibly going to play out in this?
By the way, just to clarify, this fuckstick right here thinks that if they have a Fox debate, it will be too far left. Just to clarify.
Cycle.
Well, look, like I said, fighting for fair debates has been a central tenet of what we're doing here.
It's vital to central. It's what we're trying to. That's what our position is.
We have been doing for years. We're going to keep up that fight. Hopefully, we're going to have even more debates. President Trump announced that he's accepted a debate at Fox News, for example. Now the ball is in Joe Biden's court on that one. So we're going to keep on fighting for more debates. We're going to be fighting for conservative voices.
That's the other one, right? Those are the 2.
We're going to be fighting for fair debates. But even if it is 2 versus 1, 2 Democrats versus President Trump, we're confident President Trump will win those debates because Joe Biden's record is an absolute failure.
Right, yeah. Again, why worry about it? As a matter of fact, I would insist. Shit, if I was running against Donald Trump, I'd be like, Fox, Newsmax, OAN, RSBN. That's the only people doing it. CNN, everybody else, you guys can fucking hang. I'm going straight into the lion's den. I don't care. Bring it, dum-dum. I passed an infrastructure bill. The longest stretch of under 4% unemployment in 60 goddamn years. The stock market's over 40K. Partly, the price of gas is going up, but the price of transportation for the average American is going down. Work that shit out without carrying the 2, you dumb motherfucker. Fucking, I'd do a debate at the Blaze with Biden's record.
Biden can't even read from a teleprompter. He can't even go to a Wawa in a staged event and close a takeout box without embarrassing himself. President Trump has a strong record, a record that Americans support. Biden has a record of weakness and chaos. That record's going to come.
Yes, weakness and chaos. Unlike the summer of 2020. You know what I mean? Because don't we all? Oh.
Through in that debate, but we're fighting for fair debates. We're fighting for more debates.
We're fighting for some sound baffling.
Trump is willing to debate anytime, anywhere, any place.
Well,
I mean, by the way, him debating himself doesn't count.
I hope the RNC makes a stand finally, because as you know, Tommy, the Commission on Presidential Debates is patently unfair. It's left-wing. It's slant.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's patently unfair. Biden got tested for COVID, and they want Trump to do it too, and just awful.
And you know what? I think
What?
Democrats deserve tough questions. But you know what? They get to, because, and the RNC has agreed up until this point, no. Every Democrat gets to get patted on the bum and not take any tough questions. I hope this new RNC abandons.
Yeah, and I will say, you got credit where credit is due. Nobody asks tougher questions of Donald Trump than Chris Salcido. Questions like, thank you, sir, may I have another?
That premise, because I think Americans are sick and tired of having the press run cover for the Democrat Party.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Just tired and sick. Because, especially the New York Times, it's just like, oh, another story about how Biden's just killing it. Like, it's like, we get it.
Trump has also hinted that both candidates submit to a drug test.
That's because Trump is under the impression that the drugs he takes don't show up. Cool. Can we test everybody for Pervitin?
For this debate, is the RNC going to at least insist on that?
No.
Look, these conditions are going to be set ahead of the debate.
No, that's a no.
We're fighting again for that fair debate.
That fair debate, which, obviously if we drug test Trump, he's not going to do well. How early? And can you bring someone else's urine? Is that... I got to say, like, the idea that Trump is going to piss in a cup right before, for real. Why is this weird? Somebody just joined the campaign that used to work for somebody who came in third in the Kentucky Derby. Why do you have a doctor from a disqualified thoroughbreds team working for you? Oh, because he's good. He knows how to attach a fake bladder. Fill it with lemonade. Oh my God, this is so stupid. All right, next up, the debates on okay. So this is we got to deal with it. Okay, so this Comer was on with Maria Bartiromo, and apparently there's more fucking trial stuff, but impeachment, blah blah blah. Like also in that segment, but that's not the important part. Here's the important part. Look at Maria's eyes. And look at the Dow. Look at Maria's eyes. Look at the Dow. Look at Maria's eyes. Look at the Dow. Look at his red fucking thumb face. And look at the Dow. And look at her face. And look at the Dow. And just saying. And then remember that it used to be that somewhere in the order of like only 8% of Americans had stock. And now since the pandemic, something like 56% of Americans directly own stock. They either fuck around with Robinhood or E-Trade or one of these other sites, or they are directly involved with their broker, or they like more democratic control over their union pension plan, for example, and the investments there because of ESG and stuff. So just throwing that out there. But what do you do when you're Maria Bartiromo and the stock market hits 40 fucking K? I even think did they have a panic about this earlier? They had to have, right? Hold on. Please check. Wait a minute. Oh, Philip's in there? Wait a minute. I didn't know if Philip was in there. I'm sorry. Shit. I don't, all right. Okay. 1 second. Phil, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were there. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try and make this happen. Guys, I have hold on. They need to get to have Phil in there. Let's see if he's enabled this. Turn this on. Oh, there, I see him. Hi, buddy. I didn't even realize you were there. Hold on. Wait, I got to send my mic to him. 1 second. Hold on. We hear you. Hold on. Let's see. What is this? Do this one. 1 second. And then we go to here to the check 1, check 2, check 3, check 1. Phil, I didn't realize you were there, buddy. I didn't know you were coming in and missed that entirely. That's my fault. I blame myself. Hold on. Check. Trying to get a better audio for you from my end. I'll just do the MacBook Pro mic. That should do it. And then we'll bring in just 1 second. Apologies. Yeah, give me 1 second. Go back to me. That's okay. Hold on. Let me get you in here, and then I'll see what I can do. Okay, so this guy, and back to there. copy on this, and copy that, and let's see. Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Hold on, I'll get you in there. Yeah, yeah, understood. I think this would be the best way to do it. 1 second. I'm gonna do it this way, yeah. And a browser source, and then add that, and then we go to here, and I'll add a new one, and I'll do it here. G1, add source, put this in here, put it there. Whoops. Almost there. Sorry, everybody. 1 second. Copy that. Go back to here. Whoops. I freeze myself up. Oh, I'm okay. Okay, 1 second. There we go. There we go. Be I think so. There he is. I see him. Hold on 1 second. Almost there. Yeah. And then I gotta scale it up, and then I'll be ready to go in just 1 second. Oops. Well, I'll just transition over and I'll bring you in. There he is. Hey, how are you? I think everybody should be able to hear you just fine. Make sure we're not double audioing it, but can you check for me? Maybe not. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Perhaps? Phil?
Hey!
Uh-oh. You heard me? What was that? Was that it?
Power's back.
Oh, yay!
Sweet.
You're welcome. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
I think you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Just in time. The power literally just came back.
It's how I work. It's how I do. Can you hear me okay, though? Can you hear me? I hear you. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Can you hear me, Phil? He's shrinking. Can you hear me? Check, check. Oh, wait, maybe not. Hold on. Maybe not. 1 second. It's on me. Hold on. Check, check, check.
Okay.
1, check 2, check 3, check.
There you are.
Okay, gotcha.
There you are. Now I hear you.
Okay, cool. I was just trying out things. Welcome. Hi, there you are.
I'm not gonna fool around with stuff because
Yeah.
the power just came back on. I could switch to my.
You're okay.
I could switch to my proper.
You're
desk.
good. Everybody, Philip Bittner, everybody.
Let's just go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, let's absolutely.
Hey,
good to.
Officially, it's not.
It's Vichy Vunka Day.
It's not anymore.
Yeah. Well,
not for me.
Right.
We've crossed the time zone.
I'm sorry.
But for you, it is.
Yes.
So I'll wear it.
Right.
How much time you got, bud?
I got a few minutes. But I mean, good enough to catch up on it. I got to finish at 6 and be on the road. Because I'm still stuck here.
Which is in
half
about,
hour, 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, good. Well, okay. So update.
Yeah.
The Kharkiv front. Don't worry about the Kharkiv front.
Excellent.
It doesn't mean shit. It is. It is the Russians. It's the Russians trying to force Kiev to. Well, more to the point, trying to force the Western powers to force Kiev to go to the negotiating table because everybody's freaking out because they're seeing Russians advance on Kharkiv. They're advancing on Kharkiv with 50,000 people. Kharkiv is a town of 1.5 million.
Oh my gosh! Hold on one second. Luis, thank you so much. He says, "Thank God we get Phil." So, Luis, thank you so much. Appreciate the super chat.
Very sweet.
Absolutely appreciate it.
So standard military doctrine is when you're attacking a defensive position, you want a ratio of 3 to 1.
Yep.
So if the Russians have 50,000 men in this massive offensive that everybody's like saying, look, they're going to take Kharkiv. They're not going to fucking take Kharkiv.
Right.
50,000 would mean that they would have to field somewhere between 15 and 17,000 Ukrainian soldiers inside Kharkiv. If you don't think that the Ukrainian military has 15 to 17,000 soldiers to spare to defend Kharkiv.
Right.
You're living. So all these guys
Yeah.
that are doomsayers, don't listen to them.
Right.
Don't listen to them. The entire purpose of sending, this is the cynicism of Moscow. The entire purpose of sending 50,000 soldiers to be chewed up
Yeah.
in a defensive line solely for optics.
Yep.
This is not about this is not a military operation. This is an operation to force Kiev to the negotiation table. Kiev knows this and isn't going to fall for it. I had a meeting. I can't say too much exactly about who
Understood.
the meeting was with because, but it is a guy that I have known for over a decade. He's a high-ranking member of Ukrainian intelligence. I won't say which branch.
Okay.
But he has never been wrong, and he has never misled me. And he says, don't be concerned about Kharkiv. Kharkiv is a last gasp effort by Moscow to try and negotiate from a position of power.
Sure.
Because they know what's coming.
Right.
They know what's coming. And what is coming is another topic that I brought up with my source inside Ukrainian intelligence, and also, by the way, not just intelligence, but this guy that I talked to, and I use him very sparingly, so I don't want to burn a contact here.
Sure.
But he is not only connected to intelligence, but he's also connected to the Ukrainian political structure.
Sure.
So he's got a foot.
All
in
I
both
need to
sides.
know. Yep.
Exactly. I'm going to be very cautious here. Anyhow, so the Russians are desperate to try and force Kiev to the negotiating table because they know what the fuck is going to come. That's also, by the way, why Putin is in Beijing.
Right.
Because he's trying to get the Chinese to get on board with forcing, or at least pretending to get to a negotiation table now.
Yeah.
Before the F-16s get in the air, before the ATACMS arrive, before the bulk of the 61 billion that we allocated to them, when that arrives, that's going to change a lot. And there's an aspect to what is coming down the pipeline, when it's going to happen, and Moscow's in trouble.
Yeah.
Moscow is in real serious trouble, and they know it. That's why Putin went to Beijing. That's why they got 50,000 men in an operation that can't possibly hope to win. It is all meant to try and force Kiev and the Western powers to negotiate with them from a position where they think they are, that they have a winning hand.
Yeah.
Don't fall for it. If you hear people saying, oh, Kharkiv, I have seen literally people saying Kharkiv is going to fall in 2 to 3 days and then Kiev will fall in a week.
Yeah.
It's cloud cuckoo land stuff. It's crazy.
Right. The Telegram and New York Times were both playing around with that a little bit, and it's garbage.
That's another thing, by the way. Our Western press is fucking shit. Our press corps is dropping the ball badly. I have seen so many reports in the press, both in Britain and in the United States, where they're taking by the base assumption that this Kharkiv offensive is this massive, oh my God, this wave crushing on Kharkiv. First off, by the way, it's already been blunted.
Right.
It's weird. What exactly? It's not weird. It's uncertain because of our lines of communication. What exactly is happening in some of these small villages where, yes, they do have 50,000 men, so they are going to take ground.
Yeah,
they're going to. But it's inconsequential ground because unless you take Kharkiv, you can't. At the end of the day, unless you take Kharkiv, you can't sit in some of these villages on the outskirts of the city and in the oblast because they'll just pound you from the city. Likewise, they can pound the city. Yes, that's true. And I am in contact with people out in Kharkiv, and they're getting shellacked.
Yeah,
and it's not good.
But it's not the end of the world. Not the way they're selling it. Right.
It's not the end of the world, and you cannot leave that those 50,000 men that are taking these small villages and stuff. You can't leave them in the field just static. Because Ukraine will be able to fire on them just as much as they can fire on Kharkiv. Kharkiv can fire out on those positions.
Well, that's what's been happening.
Untenable.
Right. So Kharkiv.
So it's untenable. It's untenable for them to sit in the. They have to take the city, and they don't have the manpower to do it. It's all about scaring people.
Yeah.
It's all about scaring the Western powers, and unfortunately, I see the Western press falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. But I am speaking to people, to contacts here in Kiev, that they are actually. This is why we saw Blinken when Blinken was here recently, and everybody's going crazy about Blinken's little guitar thing in the nightclub.
Yeah,
that's because he knows he's out. Maybe it was not the best thing to do because it has overshadowed everything else that happened on his visit, but I totally understand it because he's getting the same information I'm getting, and hopefully more.
Yes.
And his attitude during his entire trip is, "Hey, Moscow, you're fucked."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what "Rockin' in the Free World," which was a bad choice of song, but nevertheless, that's why he was feeling. I mean, look at his energy the entire time. He knows. Everybody here
he got this.
knows.
So
everybody who's
there
in
are people outside of I want to say Kharkov, the Russians outside of Kharkov. The reports are that they're losing, that the platoons in that area are losing 70% of their personnel decimated, and they are losing 50 to 100% more people a day than they were in the period where the Republicans were holding back all the aid. Because we know for a fact that some of the stuff will take time to get there. But we also know for a fact that the Biden administration knew at some point this was going to pass, just like I said it would. And they were waiting basically at the border with this stuff going. As soon as they say, as soon as this clears, it goes. And a lot of that shit, including the attackums, got there pretty much right away. And there was this huge attack in Crimea. And the airfield there.
Belbek.
Yeah.
At Belbek.
Right.
There.
So explain.
And which took out their air defense, by the way. You'll notice what the Ukrainians pay very close attention what the Ukrainians are hitting. They're hitting what they aim at.
Yep.
The Russians say that they're knocking the attackums out of the sky. That's a lie. We have satellite imagery, open source satellite imagery. The attackums are getting through.
Yep.
And they're hitting a certain specific
God, the precision of what they're hitting is incredible. If anybody gets to see, if people can look online for the aerial shots of Belbek, Belbek. I wish I could show some of the images online, but I don't want to lose contact with you or what have you while I've got you here. But we'll talk about it too more on
power. We've got power. That's another thing, by the way. We did lose power for about 5 hours. This is the second day in a row we lost power. Today for an extended period of time. It's not. Look, I'm not going to tell you that everything is roses and ponies and cuddly puppy.
I know it sounds pretty good.
But the reality of the thing is, while we are suffering through things, and while yes, Ukrainians are dying, and the stories that we are hearing from
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Crimes as we speak.
Yeah.
They're desperate. They're desperate. They're a little bit crazed from what we understand. But again, cynically, Moscow is sending them for one reason.
Well, they're out of soldiers,
only, and that is they're out of soldiers.
It's not. These are all.
They're a spent force.
Yeah, these are the criminals. These are the fucked up, like the rapists and everybody that they got out, or Chechen slaughter squads.
I mean, there are some.
Yeah.
Also, again, let's not put on the rose-colored glasses. There are some professional soldiers.
100%.
But they're being used
like infantrymen,
and we're already hearing this from like Russian Telegram, this feeling of like, and there are reports of like large scale desertions, because they know that they're not there to take anything that will be lasting or significant in any kind of tactical or strategic way. They're there to scare people into forcing Kiev to the negotiating table. and it's a waste of their lives.
Yeah.
And they know it. So there's going to be an increased problem with desertion, I would expect.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly than anything else, again, without putting a rosy spin on things, I'm not. I for the first time in a very long time, I am ever more convinced that the Ukraine is going to win.
Right.
And Ukraine, I have always had the hope. I've always had the belief. I have the knowledge. After my meeting this week, we are almost at a point, if we're not already there. And again, war is fickle, and lots of things can happen. I'm not writing this in stone, but I am sleeping real easy these days because I know from my meetings that I had this week with people who are very deeply involved in what is happening here. The momentum of this war, thanks to our 61 billion in no small part, the momentum of this war is about to shift.
Yes.
And it's going to return to Ukraine. Ukraine is going to regain the initiative. And it is going to be very bad for Moscow and for the Kremlin and for Putin domestically, because they feel, if you watch what they've been saying internally within Russia, is this is now an unstoppable force, and that we will roll to Moscow, or we will roll to Kiev.
Yeah.
We will roll into Odessa.
Horseshit.
We are now completely, the wind is at our back, and we cannot be defeated. The Ukrainians are about to blunt that.
Yeah.
Real hard. And not only are they going to blunt any kind of momentum that the Russians have,
right,
they're going to reverse that momentum.
I would argue they already have in the last,
I would say
72 hours,
48 hours, 72 hours, something like that. You could see it. You could see Ukrainian officials with the military saying things like, "We know what's happening on the front. We don't need to advertise it."
Yep.
Which to me means they've got stuff happening that is very beneficial for them, but they don't want to, they don't want to overplay their hand.
Yeah.
Things are about to get really, really bad for the Russians, and all those everybody who's been saying, "Oh, we wasted our money," or "Oh, the Ukrainians can't win," that narrative, that's about to go out the window.
Right.
The Ukrainian, again, without getting overly optimistic or getting pie in the sky, I am basing this on knowledge. I am basing this on information that I know that I can't disclose.
Sure.
I'm sorry, you're just going to have to take my word for it. I know that's a shitty thing to say.
No, it isn't. It makes total sense in this situation.
It's operational security,
right,
and I'm not going to betray it.
Yeah.
I've been privileged to get this information, and I'm not going to spoil it. But just take my word for it. Things are about to happen that are happening, and I'm not just talking immediate term. I'm talking
permanent,
short term to medium term.
Yeah,
that will significantly change the landscape of this war.
Yeah,
this war is entering a new phase very soon. I spoke to my guy. I'm going to be careful about this.
Sure.
It's 3:45 in the morning. I'm a little fuzzy.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't want to ruin this here, but let me just put it this way. My guy said, we are looking at another shift in this war similar to what we got when we got the HIMARS.
Yeah.
And the HIMARS was a game changer.
Yeah. It went from 600.
We are about to see.
It went from 600 a day to 1,000 a day when the HIMARS showed up, mostly because of the lack of being able to refurbish and refuel and rearm people. And
we could touch them, and the Ukrainians, could touch them before they touched us.
Right.
Something very similar is about to happen.
I'm going to show on screen real quick. You won't be able to see it, Phil, but I'm going to show on screen right now the aerial photo of Belbek of the 3 spots. Yeah. Well, it's just the after shot, but I want everybody to see the precision of what's being hit, so that you see where the wide open nature of this. And it's like, I got to say, as somebody who, really enjoyed the most recent Top Gun Maverick movie, and it was very funny how they, the big talk was they didn't specify what the country was that had 6th generation fighters was the idea. And there's only two that could possibly have it, and only one that really might, which is Russia. But everybody talked about how it was China because his Taiwan patch was back on his jacket, right? And that was just something that I was glad that they did. But you could tell this was about Russia. This was about Russia spreading their nuclear arms into Chechnya or a similar place. And it, for all the world, the strike points look very similar. Like, I gotta say, like, it's really fascinating.
They're hitting air defense. Why
Yes.
would they hit air defense?
Right.
I mean, I don't want to, you know, it's not hard to figure out what I'm saying.
Because so you don't have backup. I mean, essentially, it's so it.
Yeah. Well, and also, okay. So here's the other quick thing. I do want to touch on Slovakia briefly.
Oh, yeah.
We got another like 12 minutes here, so I'm just gonna. Bleh.
Most people don't know that the Slovak leader was shot. There was
Slovak leader,
assassination
he's
attempt.
Prime Minister. Yeah, he's a terrible politician, and he was ousted before in relation to the death, the killing of a Slovakian journalist.
Right.
So this is no saint.
Yeah.
And he is very pro Moscow. Well, he's anti-Ukraine more than he's pro Moscow. The guy who shot him apparently has very close ties to a paramilitary group that is funded by Russian military intelligence. So, and also, by the way, you know, Ukraine is not going to conduct assassination teams in Western Europe.
No.
There's too little reward for too great a risk.
Right.
It's the same thing with, people talk about this journalist, this American Peruvian journalist who was killed here, Gonzalo Lira. The Ukrainians did not kill Gonzalo Lira, and they didn't kill this guy. They don't
need to.
This assassination because it doesn't. There's
no
they
purpose.
Don't have to. There's nothing. There's no major reward.
Right.
For doing this.
Nothing to be gained.
For them.
Right. Agreed.
And it's way too risky because if they get caught with their hands, dirty, then Western Europe turns on Ukraine. For what? For the assassination of a prime minister in Slovakia?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Right. Who cares?
The Ukrainians are not stupid.
Right.
They're very cunning about what they do, and they're very, very, they're very determined and focused about what they do. If they got caught trying to kill the Slovakian prime minister, then it's over.
Yeah.
It's done. And so, what do you get by killing?
It's the moral equivalent of Russia using tactical nukes. Everybody talks about Russia's possibility of using tactical nukes. When they do that, everybody who might have been tacitly backing them goes away. Right. Pakistan and China leave, Iran as well. Like, everybody has to back away from that shit, and they're left alone in it. So this is a similar like moral zone for the Ukrainians. There's no reason.
But I mean, the reason why I stayed up tonight to talk to you is primarily those.
Because I'm charming.
The Slovakian thing, and that as well. And to show my Vish Ivanka.
Yes.
The Slovakian thing is definitely worth talking about. I'm not ignoring it, but it's a nothing.
Yep.
Oh well, it's not a nothing, but it's Ukraine
on the scale of what's going on right now. It doesn't chart.
On the scale of what's going on, but what I really wanted to talk to you about, and why I made a point of doing this, is because I really need everybody who is paying attention, has been paying attention, and also please spread this message. Kharkiv and the offensive in the northeast of Ukraine is a whole bunch of it's
propaganda.
It's lights, it's smoke and mirrors,
sure.
It's big flashy. Oh no! Oh my God!
Yeah,
and that's what they want. If we respond to that, we're playing into their hands.
Right.
The Russians are not taking the upper hand. The Russians are desperate to get something on the board before things go very sour for them, and they know it.
Right.
And unfortunately for them, Kiev knows it too.
Yeah.
Because again, my contact is a guy who walks these lines between, intelligence, the military, and the political. So it's a comprehensive thing. They know what Russia is trying to do.
Right.
They also know what's about to happen in terms of their momentum, and it's about to get really bad for Russia, and it's going to be very interesting to watch. We'll see how significant it is, but again, this is going to be a moment in time that we will look back on this as the beginning of a new phase in this war, mainly because of the Biden administration and because we forced through the 61 billion in Congress. That is a lifeline right when Ukraine needed it. Now, there are lots of Ukrainians who are still pissed off because a lot of them died, and we're having blackouts because we lost a major power plant.
But that's Mike Johnson. That's on the Republicans. That's on Marge Green and all those assholes who were just delaying the shit because these were unnecessary deaths. They allowed
blood on their hands.
Yes, they allowed these people to die.
They have Ukrainian blood on their hands.
Yeah, so
they played domestic American politics with Ukrainian life and fucked them.
Yeah.
And I will never forgive them. And even if Johnson was eventually convinced to put it to the floor, it still doesn't take away from the fact that he dithered for so long.
Right.
So no, you get no reprieve from me. But we can all take heart. Don't lose the faith.
Yeah.
We are going to win this war.
Yeah.
The West is going to win this war. Ukraine is going to win this war.
Agreed.
Because I know what's about to happen, and everybody who is watching or listening right now, you'll know.
Yep.
You'll know when what I am anticipating happens. You'll instantly see it. You'll go, that's what Phil was talking about.
Yeah.
So do not despair in the least.
Right.
Sorry, I need to plug something in here.
That's okay. Yeah.
So look, that's why I desperately wanted to come on and talk to you as soon as I could, even before Saturday.
Of course.
Because it's important that we counter this narrative that the Russians are trying to build, which is be afraid, things are falling apart, it's all collapsing in Ukraine, Ukrainians can never win, because they know.
Yes.
They know. That's why Putin's in Beijing. That's why there was this major shift in the command of the Ministry of Defense in Moscow. Shoigu is now, in a holding pattern for getting his neck chopped.
Right.
It's not going well for them, and they know it. Beneath the surface, they know it. And so, and then before we go, I know people have been eagerly waiting the podcast.
Yeah.
I am going to be posting a kind of a primer. So we're calling it episode 0.0. We'll have episode 1 up by Sunday if all things go according to plan. But I will be the podcast is real. The podcast is now launching, and I've got people waiting in the wings to talk.
Excellent.
To talk with me in the future. But just know, Kharkiv and the offensive, this 50,000 man offensive, is a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
They're not going to take anything of major strategic importance. Because
they were attempting. The Russians were attempting. For people that don't know, too, the Russians were attempting effectively a blitzkrieg at Kharkiv. They were assuming that there would not be the ammunition and the resources by the Ukrainians to drive them back, and so and they were counting on the Republicans dragging this shit out for a lot longer than they managed to. And then as soon as the money went through, they were like, "Oh shit, it's coming!" So we got to do this bum rush to try and get whatever we can before that shit arrives.
Exactly right.
But it failed
and you can
already.
Tell how ramshackle it was.
Yes.
It was ramshackle.
Last minute
rushed,
bullshit. Right.
And it was and again, to reiterate, it's not the reason why I called my contact, who I call only in really important questions, is because I was looking at it and going, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I've covered over a dozen wars. I know what tactically, strategically works.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't work. 50,000 men to take Kharkiv, a city of 1.5 million, when the basic ratio methodology is 3-to-1 when you're the offensive force coming
in an
into
urban
a
area.
Position.
Right.
Made absolutely no sense. So I was like, I got to call my guy.
Yeah.
And I called him, and he came, and we sat down and we spoke about it. And it was never about Kharkiv. It's
Yeah.
never been about trying to take Kharkiv. It's about scaring it.
Yep.
And it ain't going to happen.
No.
And they're about to get it in the neck.
Right.
They're really about to get it in the neck.
So
and I'm here for it. I've
they
got my
lost.
popcorn ready.
They lost 1,500 people like between now and last
just
night.
about-
Like, and they were
That's right.
they're
Just the last
averaging
24 hours.
they're averaging 1,400 now. They were averaging like 1,100 to 1,000 last week and the week before, even during the time when they didn't have the ammo. Now, partly because of idiocy on the part of the Russians, you know, barging in like a bunch of assholes, but also because the Ukrainians have been resupplied.
Yep.
So we'll talk.
And they're going to get more, too.
Yes, we'll talk more about
We'll
this
talk
on Saturday. Yes, because
I had to come in and
I
tell
appreciate it.
people as quickly as I could.
Yeah.
Just because I know what they're trying to do.
Yep.
And if we fall
Here's how you
prey
know.
to their
Here's how you know. If Scott Ritter starts putting up a lot more videos, it means they're trying to sell.
Yup.
They're trying to sell that it's going their way when
he
it
already
ain't.
is.
Yeah.
He already
Right.
is. You know, the Scott Ritters, the Jackson Hinkles.
Yep.
The
Fucking-
Colonel McGregor.
Fucking Abby
who
Martin
should
and the
be
Jacobin and all those guys, for whatever reason, all of a sudden, like as soon as the shit starts hitting the fan for Russia, and this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, same shit, same talking point everywhere, which is all we're doing is prolonging the obvious
Ukraine can't win.
Right, which I got to tell you, every time I hear it, and I don't want to overplay this analogy, but it just how I hear it every time it comes up, it is the equivalent of saying to a woman who's being sexually assaulted, just lay back and take it. It'll be over a lot quicker if you don't fight back. And my response to that is fuck you, because as a bystander, you have a responsibility to stop it. And we are in that position. That's where the Republicans were. The Republicans were a bystander watching a woman get sexually assaulted going, if you just stop screaming and scratching, it'll be over a lot quicker. And stop encouraging her to fight back. That's literally, morally their position. And it's fucking disgusting.
And not only that, but it's so disgusting and cynical that they're also like, like, look over here, don't look at don't look at the girl being raped. Look here.
Right.
And that's disgusting, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
It makes me so fucking pissed. It's the one thing that just like it makes my goddamn skin crawl.
But the thing that will make it all worthwhile is what we're about to see very soon, and they will have to eat crow, because shit's about to happen that is going to not only blunt but reverse the momentum of the Russians. And I don't think that there will be another reversal. I think the Russian people, because it doesn't. I've said it before. I'll say it again. They don't care about the body count. They care about their pride and their prestige. That the state, that the Rodina, as they call it, the fatherland, that it is big and strong, and we are part of this great Russian empire. When that is ripped away from them, then that's when Putin. It's not going to be a body count thing. Although I'm sure there's a limit to it at some point. But more importantly than because we'd already have overthrown our government, but because Russia is Russia, they'll suck up to a certain point. But they're far from that now. What they will not abide is Putin having started a military operation that will end in disgrace for them.
Yeah.
And they're about to recognize. They're going to be forced to recognize that this was a terrible decision by Vladimir Putin.
Yep.
And it's going to destroy Russia and Russian empire
Kristen.
forever, and he will not survive it. So
I gotta say,
better days are coming.
It's a weird thing for me, and maybe this is the most American thing about me, is that I believe that the protection of the state and your patriotism, your belief in your country, should be based on what it stands for and the end result of what it accomplishes on this earth. With it, again, moving through its foibles and trying to move towards a more perfect union always, and that kind of idea. That ultimately, what you're fighting for, what people fight for when they do that, is the potential for your country to be better for everybody involved, not just the citizens of that country, but the citizens of the world indeed. And in the case of Russia, what fucking identity are they fighting for except to be the tiger in a room full of dogs? And it's just it's
the alternative they offer.
That's the standard, and it's ultimately the problem they have is, as a human being, it's not worth fighting for. That is not worth fighting for as a human being. It's not what their people are fighting for. It's not what the Russian soldiers are fighting for. Even the ones that have been bullshitted into thinking this was some sort of anti-neo-Nazi bullshit that they were selling to them. None of that turned out to be true, and they know it now, and you can't keep people on board for that shit. we dealt with it in Afghanistan, and I think to some degree with like shock and awe in Iraq and that kind of stuff. But ultimately, you could at least argue in Iraq that Saddam Hussein was a terrible person. Whether the whole, the stuff about weapons of mass destruction and all that kind of shit is the problem we have to deal with as a country, that's our burden. But even in this case, they don't even have that. They can't honestly look at Zelensky and go, this monster was running rape rooms with his 2 sons. Like that kind of shit, which was true about Saddam Hussein. That was never true about Zelensky or any other Ukrainian in this situation. And the fact that they sold it that way, or that they tried to sell it that way, means the turnaround on it. When you wake up to the fact that you were in a fucking cult and you're that kind of person, you're that kind of murderer, and the worm turns, that's ugly back home. That's a country. That's a country full of Russian Timothy McVeighs with no one that won't help them rent the truck.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
It's gonna happen. Keep the faith, people. Do not fear.
Yeah.
Do not fall to Russian information warfare campaigns. Don't be too hard on Tony Blinken.
We weren't.
He knows what's coming.
Yep.
He knows what's coming, and he had every reason to go out and celebrate. And don't be hard on the Ukrainian people.
Man.
By the way, I've heard this narrative like, oh my God, it's a country at war, but they've got a nightclub. Damn right they got a nightclub.
Fuck out of here.
Where are you gonna go when you're getting fucking shelled?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of underground clubs there when this is done. There's gonna be a lot of bomb shelters turned into restaurants and the like. Fucking downtown. Yeah. Okay, so I'll leave you with this. Downtown Frankfurt. There's a building in downtown Frankfurt in Kentucky where I grew up. Right down from the Capitol. And Mitch McConnell drives past this fucking place all the time, so even he could tell you. The armory's on the right side. That's where the militia that's where you stored your guns back when everybody was sensible. If you had any gun that was more than a single shot for protecting your family or a shotgun, you stored it at the armory all year round until you needed to check it out like a fucking library book. On the other side of the street from the armory, there's a row of old, they're just businesses, like old cobblestone buildings. And all of them have downstairs cellar bars. What were those for? Repulsing attacks during the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. That's what they were for. That's where everybody went. And they drank down there. They're all bars now, but one. I learned to play chess and backgammon in one of them when I was a kid. But they're all bars. And that's what they turned into. After they ceased to become safe spaces for war, they turned into places of revelry.
Human nature.
Yep.
Even in places like the Islamic world where like alcohol is, if it's not alcohol, then it's a hookah bar.
Yep.
Everybody goes in a war situation, in a conflict. You seek normalcy. You seek escape.
Yep.
It is entirely normal that Kiev has a nightclub scene. And so don't be hard on Tony Blinken. Don't believe the whole, we're wasting our money because Kiev looks like it's a party town.
No,
it's that's all bullshit.
Dude, they play.
And
you ever see that footage? You ever see that old footage of like U.S. soldiers and French resistance people playing a fucking busted up piano in a half decimated building, drinking what was left of the stash there before they fought a bunch of people the next day? Fuck off with this nonsense. People
during the Blitz in London, you know what always stayed open? The pub.
Right. Because what are we fighting for, you fucker? Come on. Yeah. Anyways,
it's the public house. It's not just about a boozer.
That's right.
But it's you seek normalcy. You seek escape. It's totally normal.
Yep.
Things are about to change here, guys.
Appreciate it.
Let's not get ahead over our skis. But things are about to change here in a big way, and it's due to us. We have made the right decision.
The cavalry came,
and the American people. The cavalry is here, and shit's about to get very real for the Russians.
Yep. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, brother, for jumping in here.
Right,
Sorry I kept you waiting.
Absolutely.
I'll see you on Saturday.
Should happen.
Yeah, I'll be in Albuquerque on Saturday when we talk next. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Be well, brother.
All right.
Thank you.
And the first thing on the edge will already be up as well.
That's great. So. Awesome. Okay. Thanks, brother.
Right.
Cheers.
All right.
There we go.
Talk to you later.
Okay, cheers.
Bye.
There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Phil, thank you so much, brother, and you guys as well. I'm going to, if it's all right with you guys, I'm going to bow out and hit the road. I'll do I'll probably start the afternoon show early tomorrow to pick up on some of the clips that I missed. that I want to do, but I got to go get on the road before it gets too late so that I can do the morning show in the morning. I got a 4-hour drive plus ahead of me, depending on traffic. So, love you guys. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else, and I will see you come the morn, as it were. Yes.